Welcome to So What'd You Learn, the podcast where we learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to. I am Alex.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dallas.
And we're here in the Solid Gold studio with the Persian rug.
I'm glad that stuck.
Yeah. It's a thing. We're gonna do it until it's dead.
Solid Gold Studios.
Beat a dead horse.
That's how we do it here.
Yeah. I was talking to Zach on the ride over here that my new favorite pastime is if I'm a pedestrian and I'm crossing the street and a car's trying to turn, to stop in the crosswalk and be like, oh, no, you go ahead, just to inconvenience them because I'm a monster. But it's a lot of fun because you know that they're like, oh, no, after you. And you're like, oh, no, after
I
you.
insist.
And they're like, fucking go!
I love when you're stopped or somebody's stopped and they wave somebody to walk past their car, but there's still oncoming traffic on the other side that they can't see. It's called the wave of death.
It looks fine.
Get out in front from my car and get hit by the other ones that don't see you because there's a car in the way.
Right?
What you were describing earlier, Alex, that's actually that's called a Midwest standoff. Oh, no, you go.
No.
Oh, you go.
No, you first, my friend.
Oh, no, I got nowhere to be.
I just totally lost my train of thought.
Doesn't matter.
It's like
None of this matters.
my brain just shit the bed.
Doesn't
Cool.
matter. None of this matters.
Well, we just got the core members of the group here today. We have no guests with us.
Guests. Get out of here,
Because
guests.
we ran out of friends.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't mean we're not popular. You have no friends. Who would say that?
Well, not our friends.
Well, anyway.
Oh boy.
So we're just going to come at you with a solo episode today, and I think I will be taking the lead on this one. And as a warning, trigger warning, this is about an attempted rape. So
That's
not
spicy.
Not on me. It was the one I stopped, but
Spoilers.
yeah. So, it might be a little bit different from what you're used to, but we're going to try and still make it funny because that's what we do, I guess.
We will
maybe
try to find a way to make it funny. I've heard people tell that you can't joke about things like that.
Well, I think
I tend to agree. But
well,
points
George
for
Carlin
trying.
will disagree with you. I won't recite that George Carlin joke, but YouTube it. You'll find it's pretty funny. So I guess I should preface the story that I used to be a Michigan State police officer. That's what I went to college for. WMU, go Broncos.
Woo. Wait,
Yeah.
it was a program to become a cop, like a college program?
I got my degree in criminal justice.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to the police academy through my university after that.
Yeah, and then you became a cop, and you're like, but where is the justice part?
Basically, yeah. No, I got in like most good old American boys do. Like, my heroes were G.I. Joe and, Hulk Hogan, we've all found out to be monsters. But I didn't know that at the
G.I.
time.
Joe's a monster. G.I. Joe doesn't exist. He's a fictional character.
You know he was doing dirty things. Him and Cobra just getting into the back room.
Well, you just got to take G.I. Joe and then steal your sister's Barbies and make them do it.
Just make them hump.
Pounding plastic.
You're married now.
What do you think their kids would look like? Because,
Oh,
Barbie's
God.
skinny as a rail, and then G.I. Joe's all, like, buffed out, like fucking, He-Man.
I don't know.
Strange.
You take the bottom of, like, Megan Fox and the top of, like, Carrot Top.
Oh, he is Jack, but he does have that... Oh, my God. Jesus. What abomination.
Understand.
It's a horrifying
I'd rather
thought.
watch The Fly.
I need to rewatch that.
I got into policing, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I wanted to go in there because I wanted to actually help people, and modern police forces don't do that.
Yeah.
As I got in, it's a lot of red tape, bureaucracy, and everybody's just covering their ass and doesn't want to do paperwork.
And where was this?
This was in Battle Creek, Michigan, is where I was stationed. And that's home of Kellogg's, so the whole town smells like toasted oats.
Battle Creek. I just imagine a bunch of dudes like punching a creek. Take that.
That's a popular
Stupid
pastime.
creek.
Take that. He took my father.
Do you know, this is kind of an aside, but Kellogg, did you know that Graham and Kellogg believed that a bland diet would curb sexual appetite.
Yes.
So they made their product so bland because they thought that if you ate bland food, you wouldn't want to touch yourself, because that was like the worst thing you could do is self-abuse.
Rigorous
it just
exercise
created
and
a bunch-
bland foods.
Yep.
Just created a bunch of bed sheet beauty queens.
What the fuck is a bed sheet beauty queen?
You know,
What are you talking
you've
about?
never heard of this term?
I have
No.
not. Please enlighten me.
A bed sheet beauty queen is somebody who's super hot but very immobile in bed.
Kind of
Oh.
starfish.
A
I
plastic,
think I may have
a
created
plastic
this term.
fuck doll.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Just
Are
like lays
sex
there,
dolls-
puts the hair out, and just
Are sex dolls sentient in the Toy Story universe?
What about a vibrator? Just
If you put
along
googly,
the floor.
if you put googly eyes on a vibrator, will it come to life in the Toy Story universe? I need to know
These
the
are-
answer to this question.
Email us and let us know. See, we didn't think this episode would be fun.
Exactly. Remember, that's sowddylearn@gmail.com.
Give us your thoughts. Drawings, animations.
Yeah.
I want to see it all.
GIFs?
Ooh, gifts.
Yeah.
Gotta have gifts. So I wasn't finding policing to be up to me. So that's just my background on kind of how this story comes to be. I had already left the police at this time, and I was working for Domino's Pizza as a delivery driver. Glorious, solid move,
Yeah.
horizontal move there.
Sorry, did you mention how long you were with the police?
I was with them for 1 year.
1 year, okay.
I was with the state troopers for 1 year. Did some cool stuff. I mean, I got in a high-speed chase. Dallas, I've told you the worst story about the murder-suicide site I came up on that
Yes.
just takes the air out of the room, so I'm not going to tell it again.
Maybe next week.
Yeah. When we need a
we'll space them out.
Yeah.
when we need a real heavy hitter after this lighthearted episode.
Heavy
Exactly,
hitter, real
exactly.
filler.
So yeah, I got to do some quote unquote cool things, but nothing just wasn't for me, and it's unfortunate because you lose a lot of good people with good intentions in the police force. And
Yeah,
most people
they
that
get
stay
weeded
are
out.
exactly, yeah, basically.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
And I didn't want to spend my entire career basically, smashing my head against a brick wall proverbially. So
Right.
that was my little rant. So, working at Domino's, I'm in college still, working the late night shift. Came home, and the apartment complex I lived at was one of those big college apartment complexes, 3 stories, like little buildings dotted all throughout, like, I don't know, like 500, 600 units or something like
They're
that.
like on-campus apartments, or
This
just like
is off
apartments,
campus.
but they were like intended for students. or something like
Exactly,
that. Okay.
yes. Within, busing and driving and walking distance
Right,
type
right,
shit.
right.
So I get home around 4 in the morning after the closing shift, and I'm going to my apartment to shower and then go over to my girlfriend at the time's apartment. We lived in the same complex but had separate apartments. So I shower, do my thing, wash off all the the Domino's crud off of me.
Oh yeah, it's like a paste.
Kinda, yeah. Actually, my car's for a full year and a half after I stopped delivering for Domino's still smelled like garlic butter, which was a good and bad thing.
Right, it's like garlic butter, but then it's like old garlic butter.
Like the one that kind of seeped into his sheets, and I started smoking at this time too, so it just
Oh.
compounded everything.
Gee whiz.
Cheese whiz, actually, that's probably what it smelled like.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So yeah, I just gotten home. It was about 4 in the morning. I go to my place, shower, and then come back down and go to spend the rest of the night at my girlfriend's place. Like I said, same complex, different apartment. Walking across the parking lot, and I just start hearing sounds of a struggle. And I was like, 4 in the morning. Do I really want to deal with? I remember this thought going through my head. It's like, do I want to deal with whatever is around this corner? And it's like, yeah, you got to. All right, we'll check it out. And so I went around, and it was a guy and a girl. The guy was aggressively talking. You know that douchebag guy move?
Yeah.
With they try to puff up and they like
Kinda-
they fake at you a little bit.
Worse than that, it was when they're, I'm going to call it a victim in this case, is against the wall, and have them pinned with their arms on either side of the person,
That's
like
uncomfortable.
kind
Are
of
they
that lean
like
in.
physically holding them to the wall,
No,
or just
they're-
like blocking?
They're
their
blocking.
escape?
They're not actually touching the person, but they are like creating a
I'm not touching you.
basically a douchebag,
Yeah.
barrier. Getting really aggressive, and he's trying to convince this girl to go to the apartment that was right there,
Ew.
and
No.
so I'm catching either the middle or tail end of this, and he starts grabbing her to like kind of, and she's resisting, saying no, I don't want to do this. One of them was a little drunk. I don't remember which one.
But it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Good call, Alex. And that's why you're here, for levity.
Yeah. Let's drink my wine.
Wine break.
You're a terrorist, Alex.
No, that's only when he's in a crosswalk. You've heard
You're
him.
an audio terrorist.
ASMR presents Alex.
Yeah, eating noises. Oh. God.
No one signed up for this.
Just eating a cheese sandwich. Something really like mucusy.
Oh. Okay. Anyway, back to the rape.
Back to the attempted rape. All right, so at this point of I hate to call it police officer instincts, but that's basically what it was, comes up, and
I think they were good Samaritan instincts.
probably
Frame them that way.
I was raised right. So I see they're starting to get aggressive, and it's like, ah, shit, I gotta do something. He's trying to pull her into an apartment to God knows what. Wasn't gonna play a game of Parcheesi. I knew that much. Because who the fuck plays Parcheesi anymore?
No one plays. I think it's Ludo. Or Trouble?
Cahoots.
Board games.
Yay!
I actually just got Catan and Small World. Still in the box. Super excited to play them.
Wow. I don't
Catan's a
know.
little overrated, but it's
I don't
kind
know
of
what
fun.
Small
Hey, you
World
can
is.
to get off. Do you have wood for sheep?
Want another crack at that one?
Moving
I don't
on.
personally have wood for sheep. I have heard of people that do.
Australians mostly, I've heard.
New Zealand.
Sorry. Yeah.
Tasmanians? I don't know.
Sure.
Just
Did
that
you know
whole...
New
I'm just
Zealand
going to
has
shit on everywhere down there.
New Zealand has the highest percentage of alcoholics in the world. Well, also their population's smaller.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have thought it would have been Alaska.
I also,
Ooh,
or
that's a good
Nunavut up in Canada.
Yeah. Alaska, fun fact, not a fun place for women.
It doesn't
What?
seem like a fun place for anybody that isn't a grizzled, like, lumberjack man.
Yeah.
Which kind of fits into this story.
Oh, we're going to ruin lumberjacks. Fuck.
Didn't the bounty paper towel people already ruin lumberjacks?
I mean, he's kind of hot.
If you're into that sort of thing, he kind of looks like the guy from Property Brothers.
Property Brothers. I don't...
The two weird brothers on HGTV that fix up people's houses.
Wait, the twins?
Yeah.
Creepy twins?
Yep. That people
From
think
the
they're fucking each
Shining?
other.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
I wish I couldn't.
Do you guys want to order a
Anyway.
pizza?
You gotta order a pizza on the pod. Pizza pod.
Yes.
And then we'll eat it directly into the microphone.
Are you hungry enough to eat it?
Alex's
no.
ASMR.
Moving on.
Moving on. So, Good Samaritan instincts, police instincts kicking. I decide I got to do something. So, I don't know if it was just the adrenaline or being really tired, but if anybody knows the WWE wrestler Edge, I speared this motherfucker as hard as I could.
Is that where you ram them with your head?
Shoulder.
Oh, into the wall?
Yeah. So I didn't know what else to do, so I was like, all right, I got a path where I won't hit the girl, but I won't kill both of us.
Yes. Good call.
So I full sprint. Can't remember if I was still in my no, I wasn't in my Domino's uniform. I had changed, which that would have been a lot funnier.
Pizza's here, bitch!
Special delivery.
With a side of pain. When you come down to WrestleMania.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so I speared the motherfucker as hard as I could, and tried to pin him down to just like, I don't know what the fuck my plan was. Kind of like when a dog chases a car. You catch him and you don't know what the fuck to do with it. All right, I got the motherfucker.
Now what?
Fuck.
Well, you didn't plan, did you? No, I didn't. So we struggled a little bit. Eventually, the dude just kind of got up and scrambled away and ran off into the night. I thought about chasing after her, but I stayed to talk to the girl and make sure she was okay. It was actually her apartment that she was.
Good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
That would that would have been even worse.
Oh, so he followed her to home in some form or
Something
fashion?
something like that. Either followed her home or crime of opportunity, something like that. So yeah, made sure she was okay. She basically affirmed yes and slammed the door. Yeah, no problem there. I would have done the same in her bit. She must have called the police. I went around the complex looking for the dude for a minute or two. And then actually I went home when I didn't go home. I went to my girlfriend's apartment and told her what happened and drank a half a bottle of tequila in the shower.
Nice. Man, I haven't had tequila in a long time.
To kill you.
Well, it's kind of got a bad association, if you can imagine.
I mean, every time I've drank, I don't drink tequila often. When I get coerced into doing so, I always
Coerced.
do
Wink,
something
wink.
bad.
Coerced meaning like, I'm getting shots of tequila. Do you want one? Yes, I do.
That is about as much as it
You
takes.
twisted my arm. Well, that's because tequila is the only liquor that actually gives you energy.
Right. Which
That
Now-
sounds
that
like
sounds
a
kinda-
marketing bullshit to me.
no, it's
It's from what it's made of. From the agave, it gives you a natural sugar that actually not quite like a Four Loko.
yeah. I mean, like you're tired and hungover, and you have a shot of whiskey, and you feel better. If you don't feel drunk, you just feel normal because you died. Like it's all sugar.
yeah.
right?
Well, basically, and then brain chemistry kind of like
Sure.
turns it a little bit. So yeah, that was my fun little story, and eventually, I did get called as a witness to. I didn't get charged with anything. I got called as a witness to this trial, which
Should have shut the door.
No. Please finish.
Hear the sound of peeing cats.
So yeah, I got called to trial. I testified on the behalf of what I saw. Wasn't much, to be honest.
Right. Sorry.
You're
Laughing at the
it's
cat.
all right. I know. And yeah, the guy eventually did get convicted of assault and attempted battery. So the story does have a happy ending, but reason I wanted to come on and tell this story, because I'd never actually told this story. Literally only the courts and my girlfriend at the time knew that story, so I'd never told it before. And I've been reading this book on the farm about the Robert Pickton serial killer from Vancouver. Great book. One of the best true crime books I've ever read. But it was giving me horrible nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the horrible police work in that book that led to Robert Pickton being able to kill 38 women. Kill,
Same difference, really.
well, if you're the Vancouver Police Department, yes.
Well, I mean, like
less
42 isn't much worse than 34. I mean,
Each one is significantly worse.
no. What I'm saying is like, if you kill 30 people or you kill 40 people, you should still go away forever.
Yes.
Like
Well,
it's like, well, it was only 30.
the big thing in the Robert
No.
the big horrible thing in the Robert Pickton case was basically the judge decided after about 15 trials or so, they said, that's good enough, and we'll put him away. So those other
Oh yeah, they never
20
got
or
justice
so
or recognition.
never got justice
because he was
for-
just too lazy to go through everything.
basically. So that
I didn't mean to come off
I
like
know,
it didn't
I know.
like the deaths did not matter, but I was
I know what you're saying.
Like
It's all bad.
it's all bad.
None of it's good. It's all bad.
Well, I mean, it would be good if you were a competing pig farmer, because then you're just like, well, that's one competition out of the way.
Well, especially
Well,
since he was putting human remains in his meat.
Exactly.
Yeah, for 20 something.
Yeah, and they didn't, and then the Vancouver didn't release a health hazard until the year 2004. I
Too
think.
late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
too late. Basically,
Yeah.
anywhere too
so
late.
how certain are we that human remains ended up in the human food chain?
Oh, it's 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
so fucked.
He also had this place called the Piggy Palace where
Ooh.
it served food, alcohol, and had live music. I'm sure there was human bits in the food at the Piggy Palace.
Probably, or at least he kept his victims in the same freezer. He kept the big old pigs that they did a big pig roast, like on the spit.
What if he like fucked up and like accidentally brought out like, here you go, the pit. Oh no, that's a person. God damn it!
It's my favorite cut of meat. It got you the leg. It's got the big old. Oh god.
Oh no!
Is that nail polish?
So, question. So for, if you, it's not self-defense because you weren't initially involved, but if you self-defend for somebody else, and you still hit them first.
Depends on the state.
Depends on the
I think
state.
in Washington State, for example, if you can, self-defense can be considered on someone else's behalf. So if someone is going to be, you think, murdered or
And you
violently harmed,
intervene.
you
Or if
can
they're being
step
assaulted.
in.
Okay.
It is self-defense
And
on
I-
behalf of the victim.
And I believe Michigan had the same laws because this took place in Michigan.
Right.
I am not a lawyer.
Because that would just
He's a podcast lawyer.
that would suck if like, so you got assault and this guy got like attempted assault. That would be so backwards.
Yeah.
Is there such thing as attempted assault? Like either you assault someone or you don't.
I think there can be attempted. I also am not a
There's
lawyer.
attempted murder, but there's not. I'm gonna start sounding more dumb as words come out of my
Yes, there's attempted murder, but that's also like usually I think the context is like you tried to kill someone by beating them up. You just failed at killing them.
Basically.
Yeah.
So it's attempted murder because you beat them up.
But yeah, I don't. To answer your question, I don't really know about that. But yes, I don't, but the thing is, if I did, this is why it doesn't pay to be a hero, kids. If I did spear him and he smashed his head on the concrete or like a railing and I killed him,
Yeah.
well, look who's getting a murder charge,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or at least some manslaughter. Which
yeah,
either way, I'm going to jail. Not
15 years, right?
good. Yeah, minimum for manslaughter. Yeah.
So if I'm driving my car and somebody just swerves into oncoming traffic, I hit them and live, and they die. There's no way to.
There's a
prove
lot of
it.
circumstances that would go
Yeah.
into that. It would have to depend on
So
the
stressful.
lights
Now I
and
don't want to
If
leave my
you-
house because I'm going to accidentally kill somebody.
Wait, no. If you were driving and someone swerved into your lane and you have a head-on collision and they die and you live, that wouldn't be manslaughter because you were following the letter of the law.
You weren't
in
at
driving.
fault.
You
the
weren't at fault.
The driver that died was at fault.
Gotcha.
So, because I've gotten into several car accidents, but I've never gotten one that was that was my fault. I've just been rear-ended
Well,
a couple times. Beat you to it.
Feels better every time.
Got to get lubed up.
Another point that I think if Simmons finds himself in this sort of position, that you spear someone and they run off into the night and you're like, are you okay? And they're like, yes. And they slam the door. Assume they are going to call the police. You should also call the police.
Yes,
And be like, hey, I was just involved in this incident. I am not the rapist. If you get a call and you come to the apartment complex,
That wasn't
and
me.
It wasn't me.
the dude without the beard.
Yeah.
Speaking in the same vein, I really hope I didn't talk about this before, but if a police officer or what appears to be a police officer is at your door knocking on the door telling you to open up, you can call 911 to confirm that there's a police
Yes, that
officer
was,
outside of
one
your
was
door.
dispatched
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Or your,
And then it gets real hairy when they say no.
Yeah.
yeah, that's bad.
Because people impersonate folks all the time. I mean, even with my dryer or my washer was broken, and I was had a knock on the door from the maintenance guy, but I've never seen him before, and so I just waited for him to get his keys out and start to unlock my door until I opened it.
You needed a confirmation that this
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
keys for a janitor are like an ID card.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, but except they're infinitely more easy to copy.
There's a flaw in the system.
It's like that. What was it? The I Survived episode that they featured on
we
My
go.
Favorite Murder about the security guard.
Yeah,
Like,
that
yeah.
came into the apartment.
Yeah, they came to the apartment and assaulted the lady and tried to murder her, and then she locked herself in the bathroom, and then the secure quote unquote security guard came in and was like trying to get her to open the door and be like, "Are you
he
okay?"
was the security guard.
Right, he was the security guard, but when he was assaulting her, he wasn't like, "I'm dressed as a security guard." He's
Right.
like, "I'm
He
dressed
just
as a-
left and then came back.
as a
Yeah.
rapist ninja." And then the person on the 911 was like, "I don't know why I have this feeling, but don't open the door." And it turns out that he was
Right.
Wow.
He was the guy.
the guy. Also, it was the 911 operator's first day on the job.
Yeesh, that's a rough day.
Yeah, I'd be like, "I quit."
Well, and like to your point earlier, I would like to also making sure to call 911. There's a fallacy of basically, especially in a crowded area, if somebody sees a crime, somebody else always assumes that somebody else is going to call 911. Somebody will take care of that. No, it's better to have more calls. Don't think you're pestering the 911
Right,
operator
that's
with an
literally
emergency.
their job. Literally why it
Also,
exists.
when I moved in here, my landlords gave me the number for the Normandy Park Police Department because they're literally like half
3
a
blocks
mile
away,
away.
yeah.
And nothing's going on in Normandy Park for the most part, so that'll be a lot faster than calling your local police department. Will be a lot faster than calling 911,
Well,
getting
for most-
rerouted and figuring out.
Yeah,
all
for
that.
most stuff, most local things, or like someone's recklessly driving, you're going to want to call your local police department, and they can tell somebody about it instead of calling 911. The guy being an asshole on Maple Street.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
And if you're or like, I don't know if this is an emergency or not, like there's, at least in Washington, there's the non-emergency number, as we have covered on episode 3 or something.
Yeah,
like
that sounds
with
about right.
the Seattle Street Samurai guy.
Yeah.
But also, if you're unsure that it's an emergency, you can just call 911, and the 911 operator will determine whether what you're calling about is an emergency that requires a 911 or a non-emergency. So
They are
can
trained to
route
do
it.
that. Yep.
Speaking of that, is my door locked, Alex?
And someone might be breaking into the recording studio. Well, that doesn't exist.
Well,
It wasn't locked, but I locked it. But we will have to clean off that mysterious bloody handprint.
yes.
Yeah.
Damn it, he ruined the surprise. I told him to wait up back.
Remember how I said I was getting changed earlier, and that's why it took me a long time to answer the door?
Blood.
All right, well, that was good, Zach.
Yeah. Fun story, huh?
Yeah.
Terrifying.
A laugh
But-
riot.
But thank you for letting me get off that chest, and hopefully it wasn't too depressing for anyone
Getting
to hear.
off that chest.
Getting off that chest.
Hopping right back.
Down to the...
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a story for this week, or we're 40 minutes in?
30 minutes.
Oh wow, that went by fast.
You wanted this entire episode, Zach, and you're just like, and that was 10 minutes. And
Well, excuse me for thinking my life is more magical than it is. In my head, it lasts forever.
Turns out when you only have 3 people, we don't interrupt each other as much.
Also
right?
that.
a good thing and a bad thing. Yeah, I called the 911 the other day because I was walking by this upholstery shop and it smelled like gas. And I'm like,
Look at you being a good Samaritan.
yeah. So I called the non-emergency, and they're like, our hours are from 11 a.m. to fuck you, it's closed. So I was
Beautiful.
like, great, I'll just call 911. So I called them, and they're like, what's your emergency? I'm like, probably not an actual emergency, but could you check this out? Maybe smells like gas.
Sir, is this a fat joke?
No, and I'm like, they're like, cool, we'll send someone out. I'm like, cool, do you need me to hang out, or do I just go about my business?
Can I leave?
Yeah, and they're like, well, you can't grant us access to the building, right? I'm like, no, it's closed.
I'm just a man.
Shit.
Well, that's what
And
being
they're like, no, then you can fucking go. Fine, whatever.
that's what being a police officer actually is the most boring shit in the entire world.
Yeah, I assume so. I watched sometimes, most of the time, I watched a 30-minute video of a body cam of a police officer who is responding to a call for erratic driving. And so him and his buddy, 2 different patrol cars, like the big SUVs, pull this big black pickup over. It's like a Ford 250 or whatever the step up is. And they both get out of the car and they're talking to each other. He's like, all right, is your mic on? Is your body cam on? And he's like, yeah, got everything going. And he's like, you know who that is? He's like, no. He's like, that's the chief of police for whatever New Jersey town they were in. And so it was a 30-minute episode of them very awkwardly arresting
Oh my god.
their chief
The
of
chief of police.
for that
Oh, that's
whatever
beautiful.
district. Yeah. It was so uncomfortable.
Well, at least
And
someone's
then-
actually doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
There was
And,
that DA, the DA that
He was
resigned.
literally like, you could see the house in the background. He was pointing at it like, I'm so close. Just let me go.
Let's talk about stumbling at
He
the finish
blew
line, literally.
a .37. They
Oh,
had
he
to
was
take him to
hammered.
the hospital.
Unconscious?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, I think it's .18. You're supposed to go to the hospital.
I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, something like that. 0.3. Fuck. No, but that recently there was that, I think the DA that
Or .37. Sorry.
resigned as a whistleblower because she was noticing that not only when she got the position that people were like, hey, watch this cop, he's sketchy, you know, and she was like, well, he gets a lot of like these drug busts, like drug possession charges.
Oh yeah, this guy.
And she, thanks,
Sorry.
Dallas.
Just ordering pizza.
Yeah, thanks.
But she went back and reviewed like footage and all the stuff and found that he was planting drugs on people and arresting them.
Yeah, it became a huge scandal.
It made
I
a
saw that
scandal,
as
and he
well,
got
yeah.
fired. Thank God.
And he's in jail.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we still got a little bit more time, I can also tell you the story of the exact moment when I knew I didn't want to be a cop anymore.
Let's do it.
Ooh,
Pump it in.
So I was in the patrol car with the guy who was training me, my partner or whatever. And we're just patrolling. We were mostly highway patrol. That's a lot of what we did. Battle Creek is right in between Chicago and Detroit. So, and it's got a major freeway running through it, I-94, which is a big avenue for both human trafficking and drugs. So,
and regular traffic with cars.
and lots of traffic and speeding, which is mostly what we did, because you got to get those speeders. So yeah, most of it was just sitting on the side of the highway with a radar gun, watching YouTube videos, because all cops have the whole internet in their car. So that's mostly what they do while they're out there.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Or watch Rachel Maddow, which my other partner
Part
did.
was just like, ugh.
I didn't mind. It's better than at least I didn't have to listen to Alex Jones or something. like
Wait. So he was watching Rachel Maddow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better than Alex Jones. But
Exactly.
still, it's like political, and you're like, oh
Right.
God, I don't want to listen to this at the job.
So we pull over it's a minivan, and we get out and start talking. It's a middle-aged, younger, maybe 30s, mid-30s age mom, blonde hair, Midwestern, just stressed out to all hell, 4 kids in the back screaming. And she's very clearly in a hurry to get to somewhere, because when you have kids, they have to be everywhere at all times, karate and school and all that bullshit.
Fuck that noise.
Well, clearly, we're already just impeding. We've already ruined this woman's day.
Yeah.
Just by pulling over. So he suspected her on drunk driving. So we get up to the window, and
It was the mommy juice, wasn't it?
we'll get to that in a second.
Sorry, I
So-
keep stepping on your lead here.
So he starts questioning her and does the classic, I smell alcohol on your breath. Makes her do the full field sobriety test.
With 4 kids in the car?
Yep.
Oh my God.
on their way to God knows where. It's the middle of the afternoon.
Right.
And at this point, she's crying, she's pleading. It's just, I'm not drunk. I didn't even drink. I don't even drink. And you want to know what it was that he smelled on her breath? A Capri Sun.
Oh my
Really?
God.
Her kid's Capri Sun. She had a little, sip of, because she needs something to fucking fuel her.
Well, if you weren't drinking, why wouldn't you just be like, breathalyze me right now? Let's do this.
Because she was a frazzled mother that didn't think of that. And here's this big, kind of overweight Hank Hill looking motherfucker
Right.
with a badge that says you have to do this.
thing. Yeah. Fuck. And
So,
you're
yeah.
like, well, this feels disgusting.
It was it's the dirtiest I've ever felt in my entire life, and I've done some horrible things, as you've probably heard about on this podcast.
Yeah.
I felt dirtier doing this
Than reaching into a cat feces infested couch for your misplaced car keys.
Yes, after I sucked the man's dick. And that was a pretty low point.
Right?
Well, this was a low professional point of just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like,
And-
are we here to make the world safer? Or are we here to fuck people over, find them, and get money just to justify our existence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the exact moment that I realized, like, I don't want to do this, as will not be my life, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. And I didn't.
Yay!
Yay, now I'm here with the podcast with you guys. So it
In a hot
worked out.
Room.
Ah, fuck.
God damn it.
Boy, howdy.
Look at your life. Look at your choices.
I don't wanna. That's why I'm doing a podcast. So I can at least say I'm doing something with my life.
Right? It's a creative outlet. You know.
Hey,
It is. This entire room is my creative outlet.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I like the wall of creepily taken pictures from afar, connected with red string. It really ties the room together.
The dildos in the hutch is a real. It's
Yeah.
a real nice focal point.
No,
They
it
both
looks
play
like
different
you'd-
songs based
you'd-
off of
Oh.
that.
Dust them regularly, like they're very immaculate.
Who did your lighting? I would love to hire him.
Yeah, yeah.
The sun. Those nice big green hedges outside. Yeah.
Made of weed.
In the Solid Gold Studio.
Solid.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
yeah. Riveting.
that about wraps it up. I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it for this weird ass episode this week. I did a lot of talking, and it probably wasn't that interesting.
Well, we will let the listener determine. Singular listener determine.
Hi, Mom. I'm sorry for all the things I've said. But they're true, so, I have to live with it.
Well, it's another fascinating episode.
You can feel free to send us more interesting stories at sowdolearn@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Instagram at SoWDoILearn
Podcast.
Podcast, and the same on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And
Sweet.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Zach Kowalski.
In a fit of manic depression, I deleted all the social media apps off my phone.
Probably
That's
a good
smart,
choice.
actually.
Yeah.
I actually deleted Facebook off my phone, and it made me very happy.
Me too. Yeah.
It's kind of great. It's
You
working out
can-
so far.
You can follow me everywhere because today is opposite day.
Oh, actually, do you want to plug your art?
Not today.
Okay. No, I'll wait for a better episode.
Yeah.
Secret art.
Speaking of rape, I make art.
What? You've listened to a true crime podcast.
Very true. Alrighty, folks. Have a glorious afternoon, evening, whatever the fuck.
Whenever you
Morning.
listen
I don't
to
know
this.
if you listen to this in the morning.
We love
what
you.
the fuck is wrong with you? But it's fine. The So What Did You Learn podcast is brought to you by the So What Did You Learn network. Theme written and recorded by Jacob Rose. Our logo was designed by Stevie Van Bronckhorst. Further work of hers can be found at stevievanb.com.